practice been? It's been a little bit. How has it been?
Good, not bad. Still, enjoyable. Some days are just harder than others. It's
That's
just I'm
Doomfist.
just stuck. I'm struggling to chip into Masters. I'm just like
Sure.
top of Diamond 2 constantly. I just can't quite make it in. And like the thing is about like tank at top 500, it's like close to, I don't know, how close are we? Like, is it almost mid-season? Oh yeah, you just said it's almost mid-season. So like it's around like, I think it's like top of 5 or 4 right now at Masters
Yeah.
4. So I mean like it's within reach, but
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
exponentially
Hey,
harder.
listen. Have you seen the
Struggling.
UI? Have you seen the UI for top 500?
No.
You're not missing much. It's the most hideous thing I've ever seen in my life. Wait, top
Oh.
500. It's awful. Like it's a straight down grade from Overwatch 1. It's hilarious. It's like another one of those classic Overwatch 2 things where it's like, bro, come on. Can we just like wait? I'm trying to find anything on Google.
Use what we had.
Yeah, use what we had. It's fine. Like we got the new rank icons are like already a downgrade, but the old it's like it literally looks like Microsoft Paint. Like it is really bad. So I can't Google it right now. I'm not seeing anything. But if you do see it, it's pretty funny. So yeah, that's the real strategy. Don't get top 500 because it's not worth it visually. That's
my excuse. I just didn't
exactly.
really want it hard enough because
exactly.
the logo. Oh, and hey, don't judge my skin. I realized that's a that's a loot box skin. I got it from a loot box, and my wife told me, she was like, "That's the ugliest skin I ever seen."
It's pretty
and
bad.
So I put it on because
it's pretty bad.
I said it's free.
Bad.
I'm wearing it.
That's okay. Okay. Avoid forcing through chokes. So things happen in your team's sight lines. Play short sideline angles. Your choice of high risk, high reward. Improve your positioning when you have old HP man. Use it to emphasize getting out and cheating the system. We've talked about this stuff already before. Questions since last time here. Let's focus on that.
I don't have a ton of questions. I've been working on like one thing that we specifically talked about was I was kind of like ignoring a monkey that was right in my face.
Yeah.
And so I very specifically have been working on just like shooting what's close to me and what's in front of me on the angle.
Yep.
So just like slowly building an angle and prioritizing positioning.
Yeah.
And then another thing too is trying to, this is like a smaller like micro thing, but just not commit any ults or cooldowns until they actually try to take the space.
Sure.
Mostly just because, right, like I don't have a huge amount of poke damage.
Yep.
As Doom, and so like if I can slam cycle sometimes fine, but I'm trying to just not use a bunch of cooldowns, or because I find a lot of times like I'll use all my cooldowns, push in, and then I jump out, and then everybody walks in.
Well, it's just a question of team play, right? Like it's like it's really tempting with mobility to kind of always be doing something, but there's always an opportunity cost of like, okay, well I used my cooldowns when nobody in my team was contributing at all, so what was the point of that, right?
Right.
And then in terms of target priority, you kind of talked about it right there, but like the luxury of Doomfist compared to like a Winston is that you have pretty good impact on anything that you want to touch, right? Like you're not bad in tank trades, so a little bit like D.Va, but you could kind of just shoot whatever you'd like. Like you can go for backline if you'd want to, you can go for frontline as long as you're doing so on an angle, so it's all right. I mean, this is not a great map for Doomfist, but you're probably the best dive tank on this map because you don't have to worry about tank trading. Like if you need to do it, it's fine. By the way, outside of like some minor like mechanical things, this has so far been pretty good. I've been kind of like just watching how you're trading, who you're going for, and this has all been fine. This is good. Like, can you imagine playing Winston in this exact same circumstance, right? Oh, that is tragic. Even D.Va here, right? Like D.Va would feel horrible here, right? So,
right,
because she doesn't have that matchup. So this is so far so good. Still not a good Doomfist map, but you're playing it well. I really like the use of cover, the patience, the team play. Even sometimes just like going, okay, like my soldier gets picked from double fire rockets, but nothing I can do about that, right? Like I had to let them come in. I had to trust that my team isn't going to make that mistake. And then, okay, awareness of where my team is going. Like, you could even outplay Roadhog and tank trade here. Like, it's hard, but you can absolutely do it. Like, you don't change your approach. Because you look at that right there, it's like you're fortunate enough to be running with a good backline. So like he has the same problems. Like if he focuses you down, he dies, right? So they've swapped Doomfist to counter you, but they've actually just been that this is not a good swap for them. So
yeah, my strategy here was just mostly like to let him walk and play really short angles and just make him come into my team's space when he tries, and just like kind of punch him in, let him kind of go for me and bait him because, I have a Soj Ana, I have a Ana Soj Zen. That's like
the reality of there's this weird dynamic with like as you get better at Overwatch to where you start to focus on yourself more. in terms of like what you can do and not about what your teammates can do, but also trust your teammates more at the same time. So you focus on what you can do, but you always do so in regards to like what your teammates do, right? So it's like you trust your teammates to shoot the tank or to shoot the DPS or shoot the support. They won't always reward you for it, but they will more often than not. Because the alternative means that you're 1v5ing, which is kind of what we just saw right here. Like you got an advantage, you wanted to push the advantage, but because you have you basically a geriatric backline, you had to slow it down a little bit. You didn't slow it down. You went in without your block, and then you died for it. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, I would have done the same thing because it would have been a sick punch. You know, like it would have been like the slam canceled. Like that would have been really cool. But like that's just the expense of running Doomfist, right? Sometimes is that the voices say go, but it was not smart to go there. You need to be a little bit more patient. And then ultimately, that's really the first egregious error that you've made so far. I like this rotation from you. This is exactly what we talked about with like front line trades. Now I want to see you continue that slam to the pole here, or this little planter here, because that's what's gonna kill you, right? And then honestly, probably just cancel the block into a punch ult immediately. So it's just more of a micro thing.
Yep.
Slam all the way to cover. The angle's perfect. You'll be able to avoid hook. Even if you do get hooked, okay, tap punch, ult, go. Don't greet it. Don't greet it. But this is perfect. This is perfect. This is like completely shuts down the ultimate, allows your team to walk forward. I mean, look at the Hog's HP. It baits him into where he's like getting chunked. This is just shouldn't have died there. But your initial response to go on that angle, that is absolutely the play. Absolutely the play. Nice punch. I like this too. Take your space. I don't like this as much. Small room. Remember your ability to beat.
Goated, though.
Yeah, you're on a.
Ran
you're
that
on
shit
that
with
was
me,
beautiful.
but I got it killed though.
Yeah. So yeah, the way that you win tank trades with Doomfist a lot of time isn't in the 1v1, but in the fact that you can pull them into spaces where your team can help you, and their backline can't help their tank. So like when you slammed here, the value is that their tank just kind of walks in the open to get to you, and their backline walks in the open to get to you. You're playing an angle on the tank trade in the same way that you were doing it like when you were playing here, or you were playing here, or you were slamming out to here, and you slammed here, and you punched the Zarya back in. Remember that? Like, you're just kind of abusing your mobility. But the way that Doomfist wins tank trains is very rarely like in the raw 1v1. So, yeah, I mean, this is just... Probably wouldn't have chased the Roadhog in the room. I would have deepened my angle, found a different approach, somewhere where my backline can assist. Because even if it's Moira Mercy, which, like, it's not fun... even Moira Mercy can help, right?
Right.
Okay. This is good. You're playing on a leash, right? In other words, where's my backline helping? Okay. Now, it doesn't mean you have to only focus this guy, but if this guy walks in and then you go for backline, that's okay, because now your backline will win that trade, and then you will win this trade back here, right? So it's like, as long as your backline can shoot something, it doesn't have to be the same target. But like that death from your soldier right there happens. There's nothing you can do about it. Like, those are one of those moments where it can feel very frustrating, just like it happened the same guy with Far earlier. It happens. Go next.
Right.
You know? There's nothing you can do, because it's still clutchable. Like, because these guys don't have space. That's Maywall. That's Trap. You see? This is fine. And now look at his HP. Like, I probably would have used my cooldowns a little bit differently there. Probably done a quick tap punch. Just dump your clip. Just get a little bit more damage out there sooner. But they're cooked. You see that? And that was down one. You guys were down one. Nice job. Really, really good. This is nice. There's just those one errors that are costing fights, which hurts my feelings. But you know, like this is a progression from what we've seen earlier, and you should feel proud about it.
That's good, because sometimes it's hard to like. Yeah, it is tough, especially with the rank reset.
Yep.
Yeah, especially with that rank reset, I'm like, because now I'm I'm higher, because I used to be, like Diamond 5, and sometimes I'd fall into Plat, and now I'm like, I definitely nowhere near that.
Here's what you need to do.
2, and I'm like, I don't know if that's better or not.
Worst analogy I've ever given, but bear with me. You're bulking, okay, and lifting heavy, okay? All you've got is like this horrific physique. You look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but if you weighed 450 pounds, you know what I'm saying? But you're lifting and you're training really hard, and you're about to go on some sick cut post, like the rank reset, all this nonsense thrown your way. Like, it's just a big chaos. So the rank resets always reward the people that are able to keep a level head and train hard. If you're able to keep discipline, stay focused on what your goals are, once that rank reset trickles down, the fat comes off, you'll be like, oh wow, look at where I'm at. Masters 5 or something along those lines. Diamond 1, whatever. Just stay focused. Stay true to the course here, because it's messy for everybody.
Right.
I mean, that's just one of those moments where, like, if I see my Ana get poked, I might just go. Might just go. Because the unfortunate thing was that Zenyatta. Yeah. Because she's in, you go in. Okay, like they pull her in. Okay, now she's in there. So, yeah, I think you lose that fight either way, though.
I gotta be honest, I didn't even see her get hooked.
That's fine. It happens. The depressing thing about escort sometimes it's like, we look at this and like that first initial, remember the first point when you slam punch and you just missed and died?
Yeah.
I look at that and I'm like, and even the slam recontest when they had Baptiste window, if you had either one of those mistakes back where you had played the cover, been a little bit more disciplined, you're going to full hold this point. You're going to full hold. And I know it hurts to say that, but like, you're not making many errors, but the errors that you are costing with your life, and then that loses the point. That is Doomfist.
Yep.
Like you're it's not like, oh, I made a mistake, my support. No, you die. You die. That's just the nature of the character. Nice punch. Just disengage. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I get it. I didn't feel like you'd get punished for that. But ultimately, your team bailed pretty hard. Okay. It's okay. It's still salvageable.
I could use to turn around a little more, probably.
And I actually don't like this very much. I don't mind you taking high ground in general, but like I don't like this. This always feels a little too far for me. Maybe if I had ultimate,
okay.
But I actually think I like playing this angle here a little bit better, even if it's a tank trade. This space feels a lot more comfortable to me, just because of the architecture, right? There's just more cover. Everything's a bit closer. Whereas this here, everything's kind of a little bit away. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's kind of, it feels like first point, right? Where it's like you kind of frontline trade. Why? Because everything's kind of narrow and compressed. Just something to consider. This is fine. Ooh. Yeah, good stuff. Spooky there for a second, though. Sure. Just check your backline here. Don't get lost in the sauce because you're going to need to see like where we're fighting here. So I think in hindsight it's okay, but just never assume. Little tech there. Love to see it.
Thank you.
This one's another one of those moments where I don't like fighting here, as you can kind of see why. I honestly think I build my empowered punch, I drop, and I play patty cake in here. Again, it goes back to architecture. I just had a review prior to this one with Cassidy, and we just talked obsessively about architecture. This space, pretty bad for you, right? This area, horrific. Like you even saw it when you hit the punch and BAP in the 2 fights ago. There's just no walls. There's no cover. There's no nothing. It's really easy for them to poke you out. Here, for them to push you with where your backline is, agony for them. Agony. So much cover, so much waste. If they end up pushing you top, fine. Did they walk into your space, right? So I like the general side of the map that you're playing, like the flank here, the left side, but I don't like you being here. This stinks. Play here or here or I mean, if you want to get really silly, I guess here, right? But probably not with where your team is, but not here. This just feels terrible. You understand?
Yeah, and then I have to use ult because I'm just stuck
and then
in
you
the
have to use ult,
area
right?
Instead of being...
Right. Nice punch. Nice shot. Wow. That one feels good. That was a clip right there. Nice job. Now, if your team stuffs this choke, you can kind of hold left side here. This is pretty good. And I think I would, again, check. But if we're fighting here, like, you can hold here. It's no problem.
Sure.
Yep. This is fine. Honestly, maybe just get out here. Yeah. This is okay. That was not a bad fight for you guys. Oh, no. That's kind of unlucky. That's kind of unlucky. You guys got
I couldn't believe he did that.
You guys got OT spawned. You guys just whiffed all of your ult. That's the problem. And then ultimately, here's kind of what happened. So I'm not going to blame you. I said, it's okay to hold the choke here. And I can't skip back, sadly, to demonstrate what I'm talking about. But you wanted to hold the choke here, so your team said okay. But the problem is that your team didn't actually hold the choke. They clumped like scared rabbits here. If they were to hold the choke properly, how would the spacing look like?
They'd probably be top on stairs.
You'd
left.
have an Ana here, you'd have a Zenyatta here, you'd have a Sojourn here, you'd have a Soldier up top, right? They clumped here, they didn't take a single angle, which meant that they just all died
as soon as
to
you
the same
clump,
ults.
you get CC ulted.
Right,
Yeah.
so
and
they
we knew they had ults.
Yeah, Kitsune Blade, like, it's over. Like, it's just completely over. So the problem is that it felt like your team was posturing to back up, and you were not. I'm not going to blame you for that, because even if you had turned around, I would have seen my team right next to me, so I would have had confidence. So that is, I'm explaining why you lost, but there's nothing you can do about it. Go next. Again, I want to focus on the fights that you had control over, which there were many. And the consistent factor was things would go well, you get a little too spicy without a block, and then you die. The other one was right. So in other words, it was the second engage. Like you go in, you get a nice cooldown trade, and then you're like, all right, I'm just gonna keep going. Right, we're up one. Right, but your team's over here. You're here. You don't have block even to sustain yourself. And then the other one was more the architecture that you're playing, and strictly only third point with that one. I think you did really well with that in first and second point, but I think just a little bit more map knowledge about where you want to play in regards to cover. You just need cover. You need small compressed rooms.
Got it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Any questions so far?
No, I think it's good. I think that sometimes I get nervous about playing so close to the tank trade, and so I am working on doing better about that.
Sure.
Playing closer to the tank trade.
Sure. This is fine because this is just a good spot for you to be. I don't care what they're on. If you got help here, this is a good congested little angle here, so this is good. I would just go right back. You see what I'm saying? Like, you're going to get help here. Your team has LOS. If Hog pushes here, goodbye Hog, right? You need to get off of cart. Because if you don't get off of cart, then they're going to just rain down terror on the cart. You need to pull the attention here so that your team can push safely. This is good. Yeah, this is just too slow. You need to be here 3, 4, 5 seconds ago.
Got it.
Yeah, this is fine. Yeah, see it? Good stuff. Now, what's the next step? Right? What's the next step? Ignore your soldier dying first again.
Probably like right by the mini and then continue wrapping around towards the panels on the right.
This is where it gets really uncomfortable, right? Because this is the more open space of the map. So, you can go here, you can go here, you can go here. Ultimately, you can go here. More high risk, high reward. It's just awkward. It's awkward for everybody involved.
I have found though, like with Doomfist though, sometimes people focus on like they focus on like, oh, I need like rooms in really tight areas. And one really nice thing is that even in these horribly open maps, a lot of times the devs leave you like just a tiny morsel of something, right? And a lot of times though, people don't think that's enough cover, right? But like that little panel will do. All I need is a tiny little plant or something.
It's like when you engaged on the BAP window, remember? Like this example here, like this planter was life-saving if you had utilized it, right? Like that was all you needed. And exactly here, like I really like what you're doing right now. It's well-timed, it's well-spaced. If all things go well here, you should be able to isolate Hog, you do. You should be able to punch Hog, you do. And that's how you win the front lane trade. Like that was it, right? You did it perfectly. You angled from here, you isolated backline, and then you turned attention front lane, right? And crucially, you turned attention front line because the backline all ran like rabbits, right? They're too far away for you. So you just turn your attention to the Hog. And that's how you win front lane trades. What you just did right there. Now, please don't die. Oh, no. Tragic. I mean, I think you still get the cap off of that. Maybe I speak too soon here. This is good. Yeah, you still get the cap. It's worth. Yes. I love the use of architecture. Now, you have to be careful here because your team isn't, like, all here. Did you get the punch there? Oh, you did. I don't know. That might be worth it. It was definitely a high risk, high reward play. Like, let's be honest. Like in regards to where your team is, but you are going to kill the bat for that, so it's probably worth. Yeah, I mean that's just another one of those voices moments, where it's like you see high risk, high reward. The question is not whether high risk, high reward is like always a good trade. It's just a question of like whether there was a medium risk, high reward play, or whether it was a low risk, medium reward play. Like how would that look like from here with where your team is? Kind of like, again, I can't rewind, but picture where you were at that moment 3 seconds before you died. You're here, you had cooldowns. Where's your team? Where's the enemy team? What do you do?
I don't think I should have done that because I even though the BAP gets off, but like the chances are kind of okay. What I should have done to be honest, is like I shouldn't have committed both cooldowns with that much CC. I mean, and
Sure.
by that much, I just mostly mean hog, right?
Yeah,
That's a lot of damage I can walk into. I probably should have just played right side here and then just waited and looked to punch the Ashe off
Sure.
or anybody else because they're always going to stand. They're always going to use that.
I'm going to reframe it. I'm going to reframe it, okay? Because I agree with you. But here's another way of looking at it. What's stopping you from literally holding right here and not using any cooldowns? Like, considering where the cart is, you're really far forward. I don't think you should use any engagement.
Got it.
Like, you're extending to where your team isn't doing anything at that point in time, so I don't see any reason for you to do anything either. Hold here.
Okay.
And if they push you here or push you here, then we start cooking. You get what I'm saying?
I think my fear is always if I have, so what I have right now is I have a semi, like I have the Echo, but I also have a kind of like a pokey type of backline, right? And so my fear is always when I have a poke backline and I'm trying to, do Doomfist things, this point in particular, I have PTSD from because I just cannot get my poke backline up here. And so I'm scared that if I don't really cause chaos up here, right, and try to smack around the poke, I'm scared that they're not going to make it.
So then all I ask you to do is to peek to see if they're getting poked. Like if I peek this here and this backline is shooting here, then that fight is started.
Understood.
But I wish I could go back, but I don't remember. I don't remember if they were like here, in which case it doesn't really or like sitting here, in which case this card's just moving for free. You get what I'm saying? Like
you're right. They were.
It might have been 50-50, right? In which case, you'd have to kind of think about how you'd want to approach that. Maybe like you said, just do like a punch from here. Don't use both. I don't know. But my point being is like the rule is always is there a fight happening or am I going in too early again? Right?
Yeah.
Because I think this was a high risk, high reward engage. So it's like, all right, if it's going to be a high risk, high reward engage, I need follow up, right? Like even if it isn't the best play, it might work if there's somebody fighting right now. And I just don't know if that was the case.
Yep.
So. Sure. I like this rotation. I actually don't like the punch. It might work I don't hate it. I guess my point is, like, again, I don't like using, but just slam to here and sit here. Block, sit here. Hold the angle here. Let your presence be the space, right? I think it'll work because you have both block and ult here, and I do think it was pretty far exposed. But
I think my thought was the Ana was hiding there, and so the Ana had been hiding for forever, and so I was trying to punch the hog into her and get her to anti-him. But it's not like... It's a funny play, but reasonability, it's not. I probably should have just stayed left there.
But again, I want to compliment you. The most important thing that you did, which was setting up on the right angle, which was absolutely the play. Set up here, short sightline architecture, right? This space is hard, and then see what happens. Do you punish backline? Do you hold the space? Do you punch back? That's fine. Again, it was the setup with your slam was really freaking good. This is still really good. This hog, Junkrat, feel really uncomfortable here. This is good. And the card's moving now, so careful. This is good. This is where you want to be. Just hold here.
It's funny because I remember feeling that exact same thing in game when my slam didn't quite make it to the pole. I went,
yeah, exactly. Please,
I need the pole.
Sadly, this is another soldier moment. I'm going to start calling them soldier moments of like, why is my DPS doing that? Why did they get picked for free?
Position, though.
Look at some forehead. Yeah, she knows she messed up, right? I think she was thinking, let's go in with copy, but again, it's just horrifically set up, horrifically timed. But I want to point out that this fight is still winnable, right? Like you have 4v5 with Trance. You do have a decent setup here. So I would say just keep holding the angle here. See if they make a mistake.
Yep.
I don't hate that. Like that's okay.
It's one of those things where it has to work.
Yeah, it's one of those voices moments. The reason why I'm not as convinced is how long of a punch it was. Let's put it that way. Like if I don't like that, it's because if you don't get the kill here, you will die. It's not I'm going to short punch the bat pushing me here, hold the angle, or I'm going to short punch the Roadhog here and hold the angle. It puts you in the middle of the open.
Absolutely.
What is Rear Echo's problem?
Happens.
Okay, I'm going to do a really unwise thing, and I just have to. I have to. I don't care if it crashes. We have to know.
Oh, you got away with it.
Okay. Did she like try to wrap coast? Did she?
Oh, she thought I didn't see.
Oh my gosh!
Didn't
Like
even see
what?
that.
What?
Oh no! It happened.
Yeah, this fight from you was okay outside
Too
that
much
initial
tech.
high risk, high reward, which might have forced a bad nano, but yeah, it happens. Okay. Like what on earth?
Could have been checking the tic tac, you know.
Apparently. Did you say tic tac?
Yeah.
Okay, you're okay. If you weren't a father before, you are now. Holy crap!
I gotta prep, you know. Hey,
Yeah,
look at
guess,
look at the fling on that hog.
Yeah,
Throw. He got hit with
that's
a
beautiful slingshot.
Hey,
Yeah. Okay, same thing here. It's obvious. Just go ahead and get out of here. Get to here. Do your short punch. Like, let's go.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. And then next step, very sequential. Duplicate Roadhog so you can go in deeper. Yeah. Yeah, sure. This is fine. Still short range offing, all right. Punch him out. You win tank. Oh, that needed to happen. But either way, cooldown advantages favored you guys. Deepen your angle from here. Like if I want to be really nitpicky here, what I'd probably do is I'd probably slam here, short punch, and then tuck here with block.
Yep.
Because it's always like thinking like where's the next step on the clock around the enemy team, right? So this just doesn't feel useful. This feels like I'm too far behind. You could just slam here, maybe not even punch.
I just take all of the space.
Just take all the space, right? So I think that's a really nice punch, but I don't like where it feels too risky. You know, I'm always thinking like where's the next angle? Where's the next angle? And you're familiar with this. We've talked about this before. It is a very difficult thing to do. You might be happy to know, by the way, I am considering strongly midway through season 16, once I have some of my other projects out of the way, doing a Doomfist unranked to Masters challenge on my
oh, fun.
well, not technically unranked because I don't believe in the whole that's just unethical, right? But I have I think I have an account where I haven't played tank in a while. It's like platish, so just seeing how it goes.
You're gonna love it and hate it. That's just
I
Doomfist,
like Doomfist.
baby.
I enjoy Doomfist. I enjoy when I play. That's the reason why I'm going for it. I actually don't think this is necessary. I don't hate this, but given where the fight is, you could just do stuff here, you know. And then again, architecture, right? You can lean this side if you'd like to, because I think you're kind of married to here, which is not bad, but you don't have to, because this is just as good. You know,
I think you're right, and actually, like, I'm really like the space is fine that I'm holding, but I don't know that I'm helping my team really get in because
you
the
are.
Ash.
This look, right? Like I know what you're saying. Like you're not dealing with a direct threat, but I don't want a slippery slope and say that that's the metric that you should be using. You know, any sort of pressure is fine.
Sure.
Any sort of pressure is fine. The reason is from a checkbox is just this too far reach, this easier get to. You know what I'm saying? That's all. But this is okay. Like this is not a bad decision. Yeah, I mean, this is how you win frontline trades. I mean, look what happened to the Roadhog, right? So, because I guarantee if we went back, it wouldn't just be that you're pulling BAP's attention. 100%, right? It'd be more than that, and that's why the Roadhog got isolated. Nice. No intention of engaging, so free charge, right? So, smart.
Yeah.
Now, this is where I want you to go back to top right, because what's changed, right, about where we're taking the fight.
Yep.
You know?
It's just, it's completely different.
It's completely different, right?
Around.
Right, so it's contextual on where you're taking fights. Now, I will say, actually, this is actually really nice. Like, this change they've done, this is actually pretty nice. So one of those choices, either top or inside right, is fine. Yep, this is fine. It happens. Nice. Nice stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, I mean, it was worth it. I'm surprised the Ash got the kill, but... Nice. It's just really unfortunate he didn't hit the wall. Now this is one you're going to want back. Oh my gosh, there's no way.
You tried to tire me.
No way. Yeah, this is okay. I'll say a little minor detail, because we don't throw minor details your way too often. I see you charge punch and disengage too often.
Okay.
So that one right there, you probably should have died because you charged your punch to disengage. You just hold spacebar and tap right click.
Got it.
Just a little bit faster, and it only compromises your distance from a charge punch by like 25%. But it's like literally like half the time to get off.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you're like
Okay, I'll
rolling
try
out
to
from
do that
spawn,
faster.
charge your punch, right? If you're rolling out from like 3, 2, 1, doors open, charge your punch, obviously, because you have the time to charge it. But even for disengaging, when time matters, hold spacebar and tap punch. You'll need to get the muscle memory right, but it's just a wee bit faster.
Yeah, like I did it there, you know, so I know how to do it.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
know why I do that though.
Exactly. I do it all the time if it makes you feel any better. Like, it's a really bad habit for me. Nice. And again, here, this space is obviously the place because where we're fighting. You could play in here, but like this is one of those moments where walking out of the choke feels terrible, whereas defenders, you can kind of just hold here.
Right. Okay.
So this feels much better, right?
That makes a lot of sense.
Sure. She's just freaking dead. Yeah, this is good. And then you stage here, do whatever you want. Yeah, you guys should cap this. Yeah, you guys are good. Okay, let's look at another code here. We've got a few more minutes if you'd like to. Let's take a quick look at root here. So main thing has been. Oh yeah, we already pulled it up. My bad. The main thing has been. Well, what are you seeing so far? Keep it simple.
I think the list of like macro things I'm doing is shortening, which I believe is good. I think, right?
There's
like,
less
so
teaching
example,
for sure. There's less teaching. You understand what you need to be doing and what you need to be looking for sure.
Yeah, I think I do. I think I think I need some more practice doing it, and then also I do think sometimes, like you said, I do get nervous that I'm not doing anything, right? I'm not poking, but I can't really poke, right? I'm not like a super tank, and so just hiding. Excuse me, hiding somewhere at like, you know, on that left room second point, or like left hallway up the stairs second point, and just waiting there. Like I should wait more if the card's not.
A little more architecture focused, right? Just a little bit more like, you know, thinking about what areas of the map with where we want to play, being a little bit more disciplined in snowball situations. In other words, don't let the fundamentals fly out once you're up one, because that's where we're getting traded necessarily. And then that's mostly it. I think beyond that, it's been some individual stuff, like some of the tap punches and, you know, not slamming quite to cover, so then you get hooked and then you die and like, you know. But yeah, it's fine. Again, this architecture seems pretty reasonable, but then that's the Doomfist, right? Like that, you weren't full HP. You get a little cheeky with your peaks, and then you just get headshot by Hanzo, and then you die, right? If you're full HP, holding the corner here, waiting for cooldowns, you're fine. You don't, you die. And that's the Doomfist challenge. It's like, if you're playing versus Doomfist, right? If you've ever played, I mean, I don't know how many times you've played any other character versus a really good Doomfist. Any minor error results in your death. Because an empowered punch can kill you even if you make only a tiny error. But the opposite is also true, right? Where like any other tank that peaks here just for a little bit doesn't die, but they get punished. But they don't die. That's the key thing. You die. You just straight up die. So you live by the sword, you die by the sword. And so this is like one of the things where it's like, you know, what did I do wrong this fight? Nothing. You did nothing wrong this fight. But sucks to suck, you know? You screwed up. Now you're going to go back, what did I do wrong on first point? And I can literally point at one tiny mechanical peak without the HP, without the cover, without really the reward either. And there's your first point. Congratulations.
Yeah, that is tough about Doom.
It is tough.
You can kill
really
instantly, but boy, you die instantly.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, and it's why a lot of people don't like the character. But it's what makes Overwatch great. It's like that we occasionally have moments where it feels so punishing, but yet it feels so good if you get it right. You know.
Yep.
So, okay. Architecture for you is going to be somewhere right. You know, either top, contesting this Zarya. Probably top was fine to start. This is also okay. I would prefer high ground, because the problem with going low ground here is that you notice that you haven't gotten closer than anybody. They're all still so far away. Right. That's the one problem about going low ground here. But it doesn't necessarily mean that low ground's always bad. If there was an Ana or a Zen or Hanzo or Cassie in here, yeah, sure, go for it. Yeah, that's fine. And then the problem here is, remember the leash. Where's my team? Okay, my team is here. So they're not really fighting, so I don't want to be taking engagements just yet. So I need to be improving my space. So you turn around, that's good. Where's the next step? From the information that you have, where's the next step?
So I think I might have been a little bit too building pilled, I'll say, because you you know, like I think last time we looked at a Route 66 map, and one of my takeaways was like, hey, I should play that building more because
I agree.
they kept trying to go left top, kept
I
trying
agree.
to go there, and I just died instantly.
See, the problem is not the building build. The problem is where on the building you're taking it, right? Because
Okay.
you're not getting closer to anybody. Okay, why are we building build? Because we want to get close to targets, right? Don't memorize architecture and follow it blindlessly. The point is that you need to get close. There's nobody close here. So what's the next step? Again, with the information that you have.
I think I was going for that Baptiste. Like I wanted to be towards cart, right? Like peeking out of this door.
Sure.
But I do think the problem is like they can poke me out pretty easily, and I'm not going to get any support.
Sure.
So like that, I guess,
so
should be my problem. Like I'm just sitting here with like low HP waiting
where
because
should
I
you go?
can get close to this door, but I should. I don't know. Maybe just top of the stairs, honestly.
Just
left
here,
top.
yeah, here or here. You know, this gives you options as well, right? It's the same thing, but your supports have better LOS. That's all. You see, this is the problem. You see what I'm saying? Like, look at how far this is, right? Whereas if you're here, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Now, it's not so much knowing that for certain, but a prediction. And when you're on high ground, you can always drop to shoot people on cart.
Right.
Right? You can always drop to shoot people on cart, right? Yeah. I mean, ironically here, actually, you could even play here, given where people are, right? So just, I want you to think proximity. What does the map provide to me? Where are the enemies? This is just too hard. It's like, oh, I could hit that punch. No, you couldn't. You couldn't.
Right.
No
And
no Doomfist should be playing for that. You were saying something?
Oh, I was just saying I think that I need to work on understanding because like it did not immediately occur to me that up top right there was such a superior position, right? So I'm trying to figure out why did I do that? Like why?
Well, you were aiming for proximity to people on cart.
Yep.
But you need to think more about how verticality can kind of allow you to have that proximity, but also give you more options. Because, like, what if they take that angle on you? Like, what if they take the high? What if they avoid you by going high ground? Right? Like, the closest thing that you could do is walk onto the same people that are contesting the angle. Like, if there's somebody here and there's somebody here, perfect, right? If there's somebody here and there's somebody here, perfect. Like, it doesn't matter if it's Zarya, doesn't matter if it's Torb, doesn't matter if it's Hanzo, doesn't matter if it's Bap, doesn't matter. And then if they're not here, okay, then walk on backline. I mean, basically, here's what should happen. If you go underneath with the intention of getting close and nobody's close, you should go, okay, where are they? Where do I need to go?
Okay.
You know,
right.
I don't hate trying here, you know, and go like, but then there needs to be some sort of feedback loop with, okay, there's nobody here. Like if we go back to Circuit Royale and you remember the 3rd-point defense where you were going the high ground, but you probably could have just played under like more co-side, a little bit more underneath.
Yeah.
Because that provided more cover. All you need to do is you take that high ground and you go, man, everyone's like 25 meters away. That should be setting off alarm bells in your brain.
Okay, and I think that
simple.
I don't have that fast enough, right? Like,
right,
you know, I could get that, but I don't have it fast enough. So I need to like the trigger. My like trigger in action needs to be if I set up somewhere that is a good angle. It could even be a good angle. It could be like, hey, it's a good place. But if nobody's close, it needs to throw off an alarm bell and be like, hey, you might want to consider moving. Like,
right.
Look at what your options.
Exactly.
Okay.
Reevaluate. Right. Like I don't want you to even memorize this either, because if you go here and they're all taking high ground over here, and you're like, well, crap, there's nobody here. Like, there's not. Okay, well then this position doesn't work. Okay, so then so here's a good question. So like, let's say they 5-man rotate or 4-man rotate. They put one person on cart here. What are your options here?
I can't really jump cart because they're gonna poke me out.
Well, no. Hang on a second. How would you approach the person on cart then? Let's think architecture again. What does the architecture provide you? Look carefully.
I would, if I was trying to approach the person on cart, maybe go towards that sign all the way in the back.
What about here? You know? Like, what about approaching, like, if the cart's close here, all of a sudden, this is like Merry Christmas, right? This is misery for that person on cart. Now, what about high ground? Like, what if there's 4 on top? How would you delicately, strategically approach high ground with proximity from this position?
Approach high ground with proximity. I would probably go... The first thought would be left pillar to sort of stage.
So like here?
Yeah. And then just kind of like wrap around the stairs and harass them.
Do something silly here or approach from here. Yeah, you nailed it. Everything's contextual. Like everything is done at the you know, you need proximity, right? That was the title of our last review, and I think you're aware of that now, but it has to be more of responsive to what you're doing. So like rolling out here is probably a good safe choice, because it will, you know, worst case scenario, you can always react to what they give you, but you do have to react with what they give you. Where are we fighting? Where's my team? And so on. Like right now, this is fine. At least where you started. I think we can skip back here. I think this code is safe. But like from here, do you like staying here?
No.
Would you change? Okay, where would you go then? By the way, I think it's okay as long as the BAP is doing this corny stuff. Like you should absolutely punish this. But like, let's say the BAP. Let's say the BAP is over here, right? So we're kind of in that similar situation. BAP, Sojourn, Zarya, Cart. Where would you go? Like you don't have information about Hanzo. That would be cheating. So with the information that you do have, where would you go?
Probably just like drop right down by the Mercy.
Yeah, you could drop her. You could drop her on here. You could play this room here.
Horrible.
You could slam across here, build punch, approach it from here. But you're doing it from cover, right? There's different ways of approaching it.
Okay, I think I could get faster at that, right? Like I don't have instant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I needed to like, and I panicked there because I'm like, there's nobody to engage. I need to be doing something.
I don't
hate
hate
I try
this.
To force the engage.
I don't hate this because you know that there's somebody close, so you're going to force a response with this, right? It's that Hanzo. So there's a little bit of object permanence here that I think is more of the problem than anything else, where it's like, I would have been okay for you to go for the Hanzo. But all that being said, you're still forcing a response. You got close to the BAP, you got close to the Hanzo. Hanzo's just in a horrible position to do anything. BAP backs up, and look at the tank trade, right? It's like, I didn't do anything damage-wise, but you did a better job in the previous fight at actually closing the distance on targets. So that forced a response from BAP, Mercy, Hanzo. When you force responses from BAP, Mercy, Hanzo, they don't help Zarya. Zarya dies. You see what I'm saying?
Right. So now, what is the difference? Like, I'm just trying to understand, like, what's the difference between... So my intention there, from what I remember, was I went on the Hanzo, and then I went, not sure if I can kill him, how much time and effort it's going to take to kill him, and there's a Mega there, and I went, I'm going to go back and try to... Right, so I'm going to push the Hanzo out, get him in a bad position, and then try to split, right? And then force the trade up front.
So let me simplify the thought processes for you, okay? So Go ahead. No, you finish your thought.
Well, I was just going to say, what is, like, so I'm trying to understand in my mind, really put together a vision of, like, what is good about that, but then bad about me going, backline, through the room to try to get close to that Baptiste Mercy and harass them there. Right?
So
during
the difference
push.
the difference here is when you went here, you ended up in the middle of the open. You failed. You see? The difference between that and this is look at where you are right now. It's cover.
I guess I don't quite understand. Oh yeah, this is cover. But I guess I'm saying when I was in the room, the first fight, like when I was in the room, yeah.
Well, there wasn't anything. You weren't doing anything because there was nothing near to you.
Okay.
If the BAP had been like here, or the Hanzo had been like here, I would have been all over this. I would have been okay, yeah, sure, But they were all here and here and here and literally above you, right? So they were ignoring you.
Right.
The problem was they were ignoring you. Right now, you're not getting any direct damage done, but I want you to watch the overhead. Look at the space this Hanzo and BAP have. Watch the body language of what's happening. Watch this. Look at Hanzo. He knows. He's out. He's out. And then he uses Sonic on you. Mercy turns to look at you briefly. Then look at the BAP. Okay, so BAP supporting Zarya, all's good, right? Then look at the BAP. Bam, 1, 2. Look at the BAP. Look at the BAP. Look at the Hanzo. Look at the Mercy. Look at the Sojourn, right? And then look at the Zarya's HP. And the difference is that you have threatened them, and you've done so safely because you've moved from close angle that's close to Hanzo to close angle that's close to Baptiste.
Okay.
And you've done like 5 damage.
Yeah.
But it's been good. It's been good. Now the next part. Now this is really important because this is where you're going to have to flex your IQ a little bit here. Okay. So now where's the next step? With where the body language of the enemy team is, where's the next step? I don't think there's any one clear option, but I have a couple of ideas. When you get your slam back, when you get your punch back, where's the next step? Because you have all the information that you need right now.
Honestly,
give me 2 options. Give me 2.
So could be back to the room underneath the Zarya to make sure she doesn't retreat.
So you retreat your angle here.
Yeah, and just
I don't hate this.
Harass her and try to push her back into the team. Okay. Or jump up top and just hold by the Mercy BAP by the stairs.
Yeah,
and
this is good as well.
All piling up there.
Yeah. You ready for a saucy one? Based off of watch this one. I want you to slam out to here or even here as well, and hold this angle here because of how close they are from this position. Normally not a position that you would normally play, but it's an option. Now, I actually don't think this is your best option because there's still a bit of distance between yourself. But my point being is that this is an option that wasn't otherwise there because of how they've moved.
Okay.
So like right now, if you change your angle and come right here or go right here or do what you said here and rotate in through here and sneak around here, I'm a fan. But you see here, what happened? You peeked.
You poked out.
You poked out.
Yeah.
You poked out at a range that doesn't work. Now, why is this working? Because you didn't poke out. You were close. It's just proximity. You notice it? Everything about this has been proximity. Look at this. Look at the attention that you're getting. This fight is actually still winnable here. And what's great about this, too, is this can also change how you use your ultimate. This is a bad ultimate in terms of placement. Why? I know you're going for a target, but why? Focus on where you're ending and where the enemies are. You get me?
Yep.
So where should this ultimate end?
I mean, probably should just be right in the corner next to Soj. I think I was scared of the Mercy rezzing.
Yeah. But no, I get that, right? But here or here, because this leads into the next engage. So it's not just about the damage, but it's also about what am I going to do with this Empowered Punch. I feel like this Empowered Punch is probably going to be used to get out. Right? Or ultimately in a spot where there isn't a wall.
Not doing anything.
There just isn't a whole lot, right? So really, really nice stuff on the bat. Really goofy follow through afterwards.
Okay.
You weren't
and I think...
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say that I think that I didn't realize, like, I didn't have that... You know, like, sometimes you make a play and you're like, oh, that's just a horrible play, or, like, this is a good play. I didn't have that, you know, like, what you're talking about, I didn't feel exactly that way about these fights, right? Like, I didn't feel good in the positions that you're saying, hey, you made the right move here.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to, like, develop that sense of I'm trying to develop that sense, right? Because I'm not exactly seeing that.
It's the same way of like, this is insulting analogy, but it's the first thing that comes to mind, where it's like a teenager, like, just going to throw their back out doing a bicep curl because they'll give themselves some like dopamine out of like, I did 30 pounds with bicep curls. They have no like context of like whether it's good or whether it's bad. And maybe they don't get the same good feeling out of doing like a good old honest, you know, lifting routine with lighter weights. They might feel like immediately not like, okay, this isn't as good as me throwing my back out for 30 pounds, but ultimately like that comes with maturity, that comes with experience. And with knowledge too, right? Like I think, you know, with the power of hindsight and going back and replay viewer, you can kind of start to see and you can start to associate those things with satisfaction. But I think it's a lot harder with characters like Doomfist because there's a reason why people like Get Quaked On are out there. It's just fun to do silly things with this character sometimes, right? So I think that there's always going to be a certain percentage of that when you play Doomfist. I am very much like that when I play Doomfist. Like, let's be very clear here. I am a hypocrite in this stuff, right? I'm going to play for the high risk, high reward plays when I play this character. However, you can always balance that with like, all right, I'm going to go for the high risk, high reward, but I'm going to stick with the proximity. Like, I'm going to go for the ult here. I'm going to land here. I'm going to do a drop punch from behind, and I'm committing all my cooldowns. Something's going to die, or I'm going to die, right? But I'm going to do so from that foundation of proximity, right? Like from that angle, you know? So like, even if I am going to go high risk, high reward, because that's kind of me, I'm always going to do that. I'm going to do so with at least the foundation of honesty, right? So it's like, if I die, I can go, okay, I died, but I created a lot of space, right?
Totally.
So I think that's kind of the way I'm looking at it here. Whereas stuff like this, where you go underneath, there's nobody here, or even here where you're peeking the BAP window from this range, there just isn't. That's not a clip farm. That's just not quite following through.
Okay.
You know, there's no upside to you peeking here, right? Whereas if you're going to peek this, charge your punch behind a wall and then go in, you know, like at least do something, you know, like have some sort of, you know, impetus in there. So, okay.
Yeah, like a clip farm is excusable, but just like
exactly.
instead of getting poked out. I think I do get poked out a lot.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me a little bit of that, what we were debating on Second Point Circuit Royale when you like slammed on attack, like you slammed the top and tried to punch them off of high ground. You know, it wasn't the best timed, but in theory, some of your teammates were fighting, and if it works really well. That I have a little bit more patience with than, you know, you not playing proximity at all and just breaking it up. So, okay. Any questions here?
I think I'm pretty good. I'm just trying to get like a few good things that I can really focus on in practice. I'm trying to think about what the main things would be.
So for me, it would be knowing more familiarity with maps helps, but ultimately the end goal is still where's my team? So where are we fighting? And then where are the enemies? And then staging your angle from there. Don't try to memorize positions only. Look at the situation and try to decide. And practicing that will speed you up. You will be slow at first, but practice makes perfect, right? So, you go from there. Keep an eye on yourself in devolved fights where you have an advantage. So in other words, when you have an advantage, good stuff. Don't let yourself slip.
Got it.
Don't let yourself slip.
Yep.
And then, let me think here. I mean, the tap punch thing for movement when you're needing to disengage that's a very micro thing, but it's worth keeping an eye on.
Absolutely. No, I can work on that.
It might be
sure.
worth looking back in this review and watching it over again and maybe taking a little bit more active notes. You can 1.5 it and you can hear me rap God and then just see if anything particular stands out. But this is the danger of having rapid reviews as we have done, is that there's just not enough time for like significant change to kick in, right? You just have to kind of keep doing what you're doing and trust the process and, let things settle out as they may.
Sure. Sounds good. So